When you're trying to teach yourself vintage hairstyling, it can be overwhelming because there are so many products and tools out there. So in this video, I'll be showing you everything you need to create your first wet set and brush out. And you can stick around to the end of the video to see all of my vintage hairstyling resources. The first product you're going to want to acquire is a setting lotion. Setting lotion is a styling product that you will apply to your hair before curling. I like to use Lotta Body in a spray bottle with water. And to create your hair sections, you're going to want to have a rat tail comb. You can use large duckbill clips like this to hold your hair sections in place and also to create shaping and waves. If you plan on doing lots of pin curls, you may want to consider getting some of these smaller duckbill clips that are perfect for going through the center of your pin curl. If you find the pin curl clips to be uncomfortable, especially while sleeping at night, you may want to use hairpins instead, which is a wide set bobby pin and it's about a few inches long. If your hair is short to medium length and on the finer or thinner side and you want to invest in a pin curl tool, I recommend the pin curl sculpture tool. This tool helped me learn how to pin curl as it acts as a substitute for your finger and allows you to create very symmetrical, smooth curls. If your hair is on the longer side or just maybe a bit thicker and the pin curl sculpture tool is too small, you can use the roll and go hair tool. I like to use the smaller end to create medium-sized pin curls. Now we can move on to our other curling methods with rollers. Let's start out with our first curler, and that is the typical foam roller. The set I have is from Amazon. They are very tried and true sponge roller with that plastic piece on the inside and the clip on the outside, which does make the curler a bit less comfortable than others, but will still create a beautiful wet set. The size I have is about 1.25 inches and perfect for recreating 1950s hairstyles. Next up, we have my pink pillow rollers, also from Amazon, and they work by rolling the hair up and twisting those metal pieces on the end together. I think the pillow style curler is great for beginners and also works well for those with long hair. The curlers that I find myself reaching for the most, because they are the most comfortable, are the rock and rollers in this lovely leopard print. The curler can hold more hair, but do be careful not to put too much because it will take longer to dry, but it is perfect for recreating 1940s soft waves. The last curling method that I utilize is the brush roller, which was popular in the 1950s and 1960s. This is definitely not the curler for someone with a sensitive head. It is the least comfortable curling method that I have tried thus far. I can't imagine sleeping in them, and I did not enjoy the wet set process, but I have used them with my curling iron and letting the hair set, and I liked using them that way. If you do want to give them a try with a wet set, I definitely recommend having a hairdryer on hand. Another helpful product to make sleeping in curlers or pin curls more comfortable is a hair scarf or a hairnet. I like to wear a lunch lady style hairnet over my curlers and also some kind of hair scarf to make sleeping more comfortable. If you plan on doing a lot of pin curls, I suggest wearing a thicker scarf. You can make one out of a pillowcase, but for drying curlers overnight, I would wear a hairnet like the Lucille's Locks Slumber Net. They come in a variety of colors and will help keep your rollers in place overnight. To brush out your curls the next day, you may want to use a styling brush like the Denman 7-row. It cuts through the hair like butter and detangles those curls without ripping your hair. To smooth the hair, I recommend using a brush like the Denman Finisher. To create teasing, you can try a back combing brush like this one from Denman. And to prevent frizz and add some shine, you can use a pomade. I use this one by American Crew. And for a brushable style, I recommend the Moroccan Oil Medium Hairspray. That concludes all of my helpful products and tools. Now we can get into the vintage hairstyling resources. Most of my styling books I found on eBay, but you can also check on Amazon or Facebook Marketplace and vintagehairstyling.com. Having these books was very helpful for me in the beginning when I was learning everything and having to teach myself these various tips and techniques. There is a wide variety of styling ranges from very 1940s to more modern. Another helpful resource is Pinterest, where you can find all kinds of different hairstyle setting patterns. These pin curl setting patterns will show you how to prepare your hair for specific styles. These setting patterns will often include instructions on how to set your hair and some information on how to brush it out, as well as multiple photos and diagrams of how the pattern can be achieved. This will often include specific curling directions, techniques, and methods, from pin curls to rollers. If you love the glamorous styles of the 1940s, I recommend this hairstyling book that shares all kinds of stylings, shapings, and techniques from that era. Something to keep in mind is that certain styles do require very specific haircuts, so the more you can learn about what hairstyle you want and what haircut you need to achieve it, the better. I currently have 2 volumes of the Vintage Hairstyling book by Lauren Reynolds and love having a variety of hairstyles to try with step-by-step instructions. You may want to select styles and patterns that will suit your hair texture, like this setting pattern for Hedy Lamarr, who had naturally curly hair, and Jane Russell, who had naturally wavy hair. While I'm not going to go into detail talking about every vintage hairstyling book that I have, those are the highlights from some of my favorites in my collection. If you have any specific questions about anything in the video, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. And if you'd like to see all of this information in a written form, you can check out my very first blog post on my new website, mrstdupuis.com. Thank you so much for joining me for another vintage hairstyling video. I hope you'll join me next week for my 1950s roller setting tutorial.